the secret god of the emperors, who controlled Rome from the shadows. Welcome, mystery lovers. Today we embark on a journey into the depths of power and enigma. We will delve into one of the darkest and most fascinating corners of history, ancient Rome. There, amidst its majestic temples and grandiose conquests, lies a disturbing question that has often been forgotten. Who really controlled the destiny of this immense civilization? The emperors? Or a more hidden force, a secret god who pulled the strings from the shadows? Get ready to explore the myths, legends, and buried secrets of a Rome we have yet to fully understand. Because what is hidden can be just as powerful as what is visible, and perhaps even more terrifying. Ancient Rome is, without a doubt, a place of endless fascination. Its power, its culture, and its stories have stood the test of time. But within this majesty also resided deeply disturbing mysteries. The Romans were no strangers to the mystical and the supernatural. They believed strongly in divine influence over all aspects of life. The gods of their vast pantheon not only protected the city, they also decided war, peace, and the fate of their emperors. But was it as clear-cut as it seems? Or was there something deeper, something darker controlling everything from the hidden corners of history? Let's see what lurked behind the marble gates of Rome and what forces might have ruled silently. In ancient Rome, the relationship between political power and religion was indissoluble. Emperors were not just worldly leaders, they were also divine figures. Augustus, the first emperor of Rome, was declared a son of the gods and was worshipped as a savior of the empire. This practice of deification assured rulers an almost mythical status, beyond human nature. But what happens when leaders themselves begin to wonder whether their decisions were guided or manipulated? There is evidence that many emperors consulted oracles, priests, and magicians for guidance. Is it possible that they themselves felt that their actions were in response to a higher power more mysterious than Rome's official deities? How much control did these leaders really have over the empire? And how much of that control belonged to the subtle hands of a secret god? One cannot talk about mysticism in Rome without mentioning the mystery cults. These were secret religions that offered promises of spiritual knowledge and salvation, accessible only to the initiated. The cult of Mithras, for example, had a profound impact on Roman military, political, and elite figures. The Mithraics held rituals in the shadows of underground temples, far from the public eye. Many of their beliefs revolved around the concept of an eternal struggle between light and darkness. Was Mithras, or an equally hidden god, one of the key figures influencing the destinies of emperors? It is intriguing to think that the most powerful players in Roman politics might have belonged to these esoteric networks, where secret decisions were made not in the senates, but in the shadows. When it comes to mysterious guardians of power in Rome, the Vestals cannot be ignored. These virgin priestesses, dedicated to the goddess Vesta, had a sacred duty to keep the eternal flame burning. But they were also the custodians of religious secrets that even the emperors did not fully understand. Some accounts hint that the Vestals had access to prophecies and rituals that could influence state decisions. Was it possible that these women acted as intermediaries for a larger god, one whose desires were incomprehensible to the rest of humanity? If so, to what extent did they shape the destiny of imperial Rome? Today, archaeologists and scholars have unearthed cryptic texts and symbols that defy explanation. In ancient inscriptions found on temples and stones, there are fragmented messages that may allude to secret practices dedicated to an unknown entity. For example, symbolic figures such as the Ouroboros, a self-devouring serpent, appear repeatedly in ritual contexts. These images may indicate eternal cycles, a continuing power that transcends the official Roman gods themselves. And what about the artifacts found in caves dedicated to the Mithraic cult or in the ruins of forgotten temples? Could these relics have a link to the secret god, that entity that lived beyond what the Romans dared to name? Another clue to the mystery of the secret god is the imperial advisors. Many emperors, from Augustus to Nero, relied on oracles, astrologers, and even magicians to guide their decisions. Some of these figures were considered merchants of superstitions, however, others achieved such enormous influence that many began to fear them. For example, during Nero's reign, he was said to rely on prophecies and dark karmas to legitimize his brutal rule. His fear of unseen forces drove him to extremes of paranoia. Could it be that these advisors acted as channels for a greater power, a power that even the emperors could not control? The idea of a secret god in imperial Rome may simply have been the fruit of propaganda and collective fear. Leaders knew that the masses could be controlled through belief in supernatural forces. By maintaining an air of mystery, they ensured political dominance over a people who feared divine wrath. But what if these stories were not just superstitions? What if even the great Roman strategists turned their own superstitions into reality through repetition and ignorance? The rise of Christianity marked the end of many traditional Roman religious structures, including esoteric cults and imperial polytheism. Over time, Christians absorbed some of the Romans' mystical concepts, but they also erased traces of what they considered heresy or religious competition. Could it be that this secret god was finally silenced during the transition of the empire, or was it transformed into a new symbol within Christianity? The idea of an omnipotent, incomprehensible, and hidden god is not foreign to Judeo-Christian thought, which could have perpetuated this figure in a renewed form. After exploring myths, theories, and historical traces, it seems that the secret god of the Roman emperors was more than just a divine entity, he was an idea. He represented the fear of the unknown, the hunger for power, and the constant doubt about who was in true control. Whether a real entity or a symbol, her impact on Roman decisions was undeniable. She shaped conspiracies, manipulated the emotions of leaders and, through the veil of mystery, strengthened a political and religious system that ruled the world for centuries. Rome was an empire that worshipped the visible, the marble statues, the golden temples, the splendor of its victories. But perhaps what really moved the waters of its history was not in plain sight, but hidden behind a veil of shadows and whispers. And now, the question remains for you, viewer. Do you believe that Rome was ruled only by its emperors, or is there something deeper that we have let slip away in the mists of the past? Let this mystery feed our imagination and inspire us to continue searching for the answers hidden in history. If you've been fascinated by this exploration, feel free to leave your theories and thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think about this incredible enigma. Rome remains silent, but its secrets still whisper, if you only listen hard enough.